This is Part 2, Episode 194. There were several terrifying beings in the 7th battlefield, each from different camps. They all stood above the rest, and Luofeng was clear, even if he gave it his all, using all his trump cards, he still wouldn't be a match for any one of them. When the difference in power was too huge, nothing really mattered. If one said that the Bug Queen Nancheng was one of them, then Black Tomb Emperor was another. Nancheng used her undying bug army to rule over the battlefield. Black Tomb relied on his one Blood Tomb blade, massacring many. He relied on brute force. In terms of reputation, Black Tomb was higher. As for battle strength, it was hard to tell who was weaker between the two of them. In a small space where the undying bug army would be affected, Black Tomb could easily kill the entire army. If they had sufficient space, the bug army could easily attack over and over. That would be terrifying. Black Tomb Emperor is proud in nature. He has offended countless warriors and is from the Qi Wang race. As he offended too many warriors, he fled to the outer region wars during his domain lord level. He then began a long journey of killing, growing till he was almost invincible at emperor level. The Qi Wang race had long treated him as a pillar of support, settling all his enemies from back then, even giving him huge amounts of resources to grow. Luofeng's mind reflected on the data he read before. Impressive. Growing from domain lord to such a level, if he was better in certain aspects, he would be akin to my teacher Tru Yang already. He thought. Nancheng and Black Tomb were both close to invincible emperors. The difference may not seem like much, but it got harder as one climbed higher. To perfect certain areas was simply too hard. For Tru Yang to reach invincible emperor level, it was extremely rare even in the trillions of races. The number of such undyings was even lower than the number of knights in total. Time passed and the warriors kept growing in numbers, all gathering in the many forbidden spaces and heading on to the next. They stayed for half an hour to half a day in each space before moving on. This kept on happening for 2 days, and the number of warriors in each team grew to a shocking number. Just our batch alone has over 16,000 warriors. Chen Chen was shocked beside Luofeng. And we haven't even reached the final gathering spot. The other groups will make the number grow even more. Luofeng's gaze was however fixed on a warrior in the human camp. He carried 7 different blades on his back, a human warrior. He was dressed in an ancient purple armor, wielding a special black glove on his hands. His forehead had the mark of 7 blades, and he gave off an incredibly amount of energy. Even the distant demon camp Black Tomb Emperor felt it, so much so that he strengthened his bloodthirst. 7-Blade Emperor. Luofeng muttered within. 7-Blade Emperor, a human warrior. The number of warriors in the human side had already reached over 5,000 undyings, and over 90% of them were emperors. Just the emperor limits alone had reached tens of them. There were another 10 emperor pinnacles proficient in soul attacks. Naturally, the core of the group was no longer focused on Luofeng or Chen Chen, but rather that 7-Blade Emperor. According to teacher, 7-Blade has hopes of catching up with him and Heavenly Feather. Luofeng thought. 7-Blade was a spirit reader warrior. He rose up from the huge axe dojo and was absorbed as a core genius. And he was the number 1 genius of that generation back then. Maybe in terms of talent and improvement speed he couldn't compare to Kudai or Luofeng. Luofeng has the golden horned beast and Mosha bodies, at sector lord level, and his earth body was still at domain lord level. Hence, even though it appeared as though his improvement was incredibly fast, it wasn't as crazy as it seemed. But 7-Blade was still much higher than a genius like Bolin. After becoming undying, he was taken in as a disciple by one of the universe masters of the huge axe dojo, later on rising up even further. In just a few tens of thousands of years, he was already close to invincible emperor level, and was not far from Tru Yang and Heavenly Feather and some other ancient warriors. The upper echelon of humanity favored 7-Blade, and all regarded him as having high hopes of becoming a knight. With humanity's nurture and that universe master's guidance, along with some of his own special encounters, it resulted in the current 7-Blade Emperor. This is a true disciple of a universe master. It's that universe master? No idea, I heard it's from the huge axe dojo. Humanity sure is strong. we don't even have one universe master in our race, but they have enough to form 5 Leviathans, everyone with a few within. The human camp discussed in hushed tones. Not even mentioning 7-blade strength, just the title of being a disciple of a universe master alone was enough to allow him to lead the group. Because such a being definitely wouldn't fall. What a joke, if a disciple of a universe master fell here, that would be more terrifying than the falling of a sealed star. Luo Feng, if you reveal your identity, you'd stand out even more than that 7-blade. Barbata said mentally. You are the disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, and he is the #1 person of the Virtual Universe Company. He defends the human sacred land Primal Chaos City, which is much stronger. And you were accepted at Sector Lord level. Stand out my ass, shut up. Luo Feng roared. So fierce. Barbata didn't bother with Luo Feng anymore. 7-blade. Luo Feng glanced. It would be very hard for Luo Feng to defeat him at Sector Lord level, but once he broke through to Undying, then defeating him would be easy. What a pity, I'm only Sector Lord level. Without getting the best choice for the 3rd clone and producing it, I definitely cannot break through. My training time has been very short too, and my law comprehension is not high. I'm in no rush to break through. Luo Feng had pondered hard about the 3rd body. Just within Hong Alliance and the treasure trove, he had checked up on special beasts and their furs, blood etc. However, whatever he could buy, there were a few better than the golden horned beast, yet they did not meet his expectations. The universe did after all have some heavenly beasts, some with only one in the entire universe, like the beast god. Naturally Luo Feng only required a Sector Lord version of one of these beasts. The human camp had a total of over 16,000 Undyings, and all of them were from different parts of the universe, with different appearances. Some were flesh and blood life forms, some energy, some metal, some plants. The plant life forms were a huge species, even though plants like the cloud contact vine and star-eating plant had weak consciousness. There were some with intellect comparable to humans, some that looked similar to humans, only with different constructs within. Rumble. The mountain rumbled and revealed a huge incredibly deep hole, stars revolving within. Exit. It's the exit. The 4 camps immediately moved, according to their distance from the exit. Over 16,000 Undyings from all races entered the huge hole. The human camp was the 3rd group to enter. After they flew in, they felt the time and space shift as they landed on a huge stone peak. A vast space, there floated many stone peaks, close to each other. They were like countless pebbles floating about, forming a huge pathway. Luo Feng already had this experience, knowing that this was the void pathway. Following this would lead to the next forbidden space. Damn! Luo Feng landed on a stone and gazed into the distant space, taking a deep breath. So many warriors? This is simply a pathway to the next space. The number of warriors here should be much lower, yet over here there are over 100,000 Undyings. A blur of stones floated in the vast space. Every one of them had a huge number of Undyings gathered on top. The numbers were simply absurd. At this point alone, it had exceeded 100,000. The Hong Alliance of the humans only has 100,000 emperors. Chen Chen stood beside him and smiled. And the quality of that 100,000 emperors isn't that high either. Luo Feng said. Of course it isn't. Chen Chen exclaimed. This entire process, gathering more warriors from each space, especially the weak ones, after seeing the stronger warriors would naturally back off. They all fear losing their lives. Along the way they would definitely leave. The way to give up on the sealed star was simple. When the large groups entered the pathways, simply not follow them through and wait for the next one to leave alone. That would allow them to leave the groups. Also, many absolute warriors full of confidence around the 7th battlefield may also head over here after hearing the imminent fall of a sealed star. The super warriors of Star Tower are the same, teleporting via God countries over, heading close to the spot. Chen Chen exclaimed. Hence of the over 100,000 Undyings here, there are many absolute warriors. Look, the automaton Lifefall Emperor, our race's 7-blade, and that Da Long Emperor, who isn't renowned here. Now that everybody is gathered here and there are so many in this pathway, This will probably be where the sealed star will fall. Luo Feng nodded. The place where they could normally see the sealed stars was within these pathways. Hence the chances of it falling here was very high. Sealed star. Look, sealed star. It's appeared. The sealed star has appeared. The bustling over 100,000 undyings all focused their attention below immediately. Tian Chen and Luo Feng followed. In the vast space below, a whirlpool of energy appeared, and in its depths, a star was revolving and floating up. A rumble occurred from the huge whirlpool. Within the whirlpool, the sealed star was revolving and floating up slower and slower, almost like it was being stopped by something. So many sealed stars. There's got to be thousands of them. Shocked voices. Around the huge whirlpool, revolving sealed stars were floating about. Every one of them with diameters of 9,000 kilometers to 90,000 kilometers. With one glance, there were thousands of them all moving gradually within. They were all revolving about the center of the whirlpool. The one sealed star that had floated out was the most glaring of the group. This scene immediately made the over 100,000 undyings there go crazy. Many of them already cannot wait. Luo Feng glanced. Young. Tian Chen called out to him beside, "Do you want the sealed star? Don't tell me you don't want it." Luo Feng glanced at him beside and smiled. Who would come risk their life if they didn't want it? However, our chances of getting it are very low. There are over 100,000 undyings here, of which there's Nanchen, Black Tomb, Da Long etc., a total of 9 terrifying beings. They are strong, but there are over 100,000 undyings here. Their individual strengths have been diminished. Who would dare go against a group? Even the knights, if hit by a combined attack of over 100,000 emperors, would die from the attack. Tian Chen said, "I've already contacted the emperor limits, forming an alliance with about 1,000 allies around. We'll attack together and get the treasure." Over 1,000 allies forming an alliance. Luo Feng was shocked. Tian Chen said, "I've already sent a request via the virtual universe system to have a meeting, allowing all those with access to enter. This temporary meeting room, whether it was in the outer region wars or secret regions, undyings could frequently set them up under dire circumstances. The moment the request was approved, undyings invited could immediately enter and they could make quick decisions. Naturally, the cost wasn't small. However, it wasn't much to an emperor. I've sent mass mail out to remind them we have to hurry and make a move to have a chance." Tian Chen said. "Attention, I am Tian Chen Emperor and I've sent out mail to you all. After reading it, please immediately head to the meeting room." Tian Chen communicated, making over 1,000 undying allies in the human camp exchange glances, all sending their consciousness into the virtual universe to check their mails. Virtual universe, within a special space, there were many islands there with several others floating in the sky. Every island had a magnificent meeting room. Anyone who requested to use these rooms could use them at any time. Within the room, there was a huge round table. There were stone-carved thrones about, a total of 1,000 of them. Silhouettes appeared around on the thrones, as the number of warriors grew. Luo Feng and Tian Chen appeared on thrones too. Within 10 seconds, the 1,000 thrones were filled, almost all of them emperors. "Attention all." Tian Chen spoke, according to the rules from before about the sealed star falling. From the time it appears to the time it falls, it has to slowly break through the barriers about it to finally fall. This would take quite some time. We still have time to plan now. However, the fight for the sealed star has attracted many warriors about, even Black Tomb and Da Long and others have appeared. If we don't team up, we have no hope at all. Right, we all came here not to watch them get the treasure. An undying with powerful energy covered in heavy armor said. There are a huge number of warriors. The moment the star falls, it'll be an all-out war. A team that is too big will be hard to control. 1,000 undyings is just nice. Tian Chen continued. We may not be a match for Black Tomb if we are alone, but with 1,000 of us, with almost all at Emperor level, we won't have to worry too much. Also, there are 11 Emperor limits and 8 Pinnacle Emperors proficient in soul attacks. Luo Feng was shocked. The percentage was really high. Among normal emperors, it was hard for even 1 out of 100 to hit Emperor limit level. The main thing was that many of the weaker warriors had left early, leaving only the strong. Hence, the percentage was so high. There are over 1,000 emperors. With our forces combined, even Da Long or Black Tomb wouldn't dare pick a fight with us alone. Chen Chen said, with 1,000 of us, we have a chance. Chen Chen, who will the sealed star go to? A distant other race Undying immediately shouted. Very simple, when it first begins, we will combine forces. He smiled, as to who gets the sealed star, that'll depend on luck. Whoever gets it, our alliance will automatically disband then. At least we are all allies in the army system, and we cannot kill each other. As for the one that gets the sealed star, he'll have to depend on his own fleeing ability. To expect others to help him after getting the treasure, even if I say it, I doubt anybody will do it. Ha ha. Cackle. All sorts of laughter came from the group of Undyings, they resounded throughout the meeting room. As to the plan, there's no need. When I send out the message, we will all help each other out later. I believe no emperor is that stupid. Chen Chen said. When we combine forces later, we only have one goal. When the sealed star falls, we will all get as close as possible. Whoever gets it will be up to luck and skill. Does everybody agree with my suggestion? He looked around. If there are any objection, please speak up. The entire room was silent, no one said anything. To be able to reach Emperor level, they would all naturally be clear about the plan. Such an alliance had to be naturally formed against beings like Da Long and Nan Cheng. After all, with over 100,000 emperors here, no one was here to play around, everybody had ambition. Very good. Chen Chen smiled. Our alliance is formed. A distant human warrior smiled too. It was a pinnacle emperor, Kangxi Emperor. Normally, such alliances had humans as the core. We'll work together. As to who gets the sealed star and whether he can keep it, it'll depend on his own skill. Good. Howl. Battle. All sorts of noises were heard. Even other race languages could be heard. It was obvious the group was excited and filled with anticipation. Actually, there was hope to flee with the sealed star. Like if Luo Feng or some others got it, he could immediately flee into their group of allies. While they may not be too happy about it, they wouldn't dare betray him. And the other enemies would have no way to do combined attacks either. If they did, it would hit the other human warriors and they would naturally block it together. In such a mess, having allies as shields definitely gave one the hope of surviving. Of course, the chances of falling was much higher. However, for the sealed star, the Undyings here were all willing to take the gamble. Luo Feng stood in mid-air and looked around, clearly seeing the many Undyings floating above the peaks, naturally forming their own groups and moving. It was obvious that they were secretly forming their alliances. Many of the warriors here didn't have the strength to match up to Da Long or Black Tomb or Seven Blade, however no one was willing to simply let them get away with it. Even Luo Feng. Even though he was on alert about everything within Star Tower, he too wanted to try and get the sealed star. Young, can you Emperor? Chen Chen said, we 9 are all humans, we'll definitely be more united. Luo Feng nodded. But of course. A distant short white-haired man with a white beard said. Chen Chen, Luo Feng, and Can You were the strongest of the 9 humans. What followed them were the pinnacle emperors and high emperors. The 9 humans didn't have any low emperors or officials. It's a pity that Seven Blade won't help us. Kangxi communicated, if he joins us, we would become cannon fodder. Chen Chen roared. Do you know how strong he is, and with his high position? Haven't you realized that there are many warriors that he's already brought over beside him? He is the disciple of a universe master, his wealth must be insane, buying these warriors over. These warriors know their chances of getting the sealed star are very low. But, to get some benefit and make allies with Seven Blade, there are many would be willing. If it was me, I'd be willing too. Kangxi muttered. You punk. Chen Chen couldn't even force a smile. Stop messing about, look below. Can you shouted. Luofeng and the group of 9 humans all looked down. That sealed star within the whirlpool was floating upwards, however it fought hard against a formless pressure. As it floated, Luofeng could visibly see ripples, countless ripples holding the star back. Whether it was that sealed star that was about to fall or the other thousands revolving about, they were all held back by the same ripples. That's the energy of Star Tower, it holds back the countless sealed stars. We cannot get close. Chen Chen said softly. If we forcefully pierce through that barrier, we will definitely fall. No warrior here has the guts to do that, and they are all waiting for the sealed star to fall itself. Everybody is being careful. When the star breaks through later, even though the barrier will be broken and there'll be no energy holding back the thousands of stars, we'll be able to actually fly to the countless stars. However, don't ever do that, unless a star falls on its own. Even a universe master is unable to forcefully take it away. The result of such greed is only one, death. Minutes and seconds passed as the sealed star rushing upwards got stronger and stronger. One. That formless pressure around created a ripple that was visible to all. Almost like a soap bubble, above a sewing needle. No matter how solid and sturdy the bubble was, as long as the needle reached the bubble, it would pop. Time passed and the blur of warriors all looked down, all patiently waiting. Rumble, an explosion shook the space about. The sealed star that was rushing upwards immediately shot up, becoming a glaring light and rushing into the sky. The sealed star had emerged. Over 100,000 undyings from all over the universe gathered here. When the sealed star rushed up, it was like a stone breaking the surface of water. The silence was instantly broken. The vast group of undyings all began to move. All sorts of long-distance attacks instantly erupted. Rumble. The originally calm space around was like a piece of paper, as it tore apart and countless fragments were thrown all around. Countless fragments caused the flight for many undyings to get a lot harder. Space lock. Space lock. The instant the sealed star erupted, a large amount of Pinnacle Emperors unleashed space lock, as they didn't want to allow the other warriors to teleport to the sealed star and take it away. Quick, rush forward. Go. The space has been locked, teleportation is useless, let's combine forces, hurry. Chen Chen hurriedly communicated. Luofeng, who had wanted to let Heavy Arrow teleport him over, saw that space had crumbled into countless fragments, and its regeneration speed couldn't keep up with the rate of destruction. With large amounts of warriors unleashing space lock, he could only order, Heavy Arrow, give up on teleporting, let's fly over. Yes, Master. Remember, keep your god energy around me at all times, stop any warriors from using soul attacks on me. Luofeng ordered mentally. His greatest weakness was his soul defense, even though he had Beast God Howl with 32 times soul amplification combined with Emperor-level law comprehension, and a terrifying willpower. Also, the Golden Horned Beast naturally had a strong consciousness. Many things combined. It made his soul defense akin to a high official. After the silver armor and the Shawu wings diffused most of the attacks, even a high emperor proficient in soul attacks would find it hard to kill him. But he could still be affected by the soul attack. And a pinnacle emperor proficient in soul attacks was able to be a huge threat to him. Of course, that's only if he didn't burn his undying body. If he did, even a low emperor would be able to kill Luofeng's earth body. Luckily, there were very few proficient in soul attacks. Luofeng hadn't suffered before, but there were over 100,000 warriors here. There were plenty of such warriors. Even though his earth body was only one of the bodies which is able to be reborn after destruction, but to have his soul destroyed here under such circumstances would be disastrous. Yes, Master. Heavy Arrow followed him. They rushed towards the sealed star. The other 1,000 undyings about did the same. Block! Block! Chen Chen shouted hurriedly. Luofeng and the group all released undying energy attacks together to form a combined barrier and shield to block the terrifying attacks. Rumble. An all-out war. Over 100,000 undyings from the 4 camps were made up of over 95% emperors. They had already secretly formed their own alliances before. Be it an alliance of 500, 1,000 or 2,000, the combined attacks may not be as precise as a bug army attack, but its power was terrifying. There was only one way to block such attacks. similarly using hundreds to thousands of warriors together to defend. Madness. Luo Feng held his breath. Even with his powerful defense, he didn't dare go up against such combined attacks. Block. Be careful. Rush, go, go. Chen Chen and the other Emperor limits or pinnacles proficient in soul attacks all shouted anxiously. Not good. Luo Feng was naturally safe within the group. Looking in the distance where the sealed star was, there were already large amounts of warriors getting close. The attacks and explosions there were the most terrifying. This made Luo Feng's expression change. When we were together earlier, with tens of thousands from the human camp together, even though we split into our little groups, we wouldn't attack each other. The distant attacks would only occasionally hit us, we only needed to defend once or twice. In all, it wasn't too dangerous. However, getting close to the sealed star, it's a complete mess. Luo Feng had the feeling that his group may have the first casualty. Rush. They were only a group of 1,000 Undyings, rushing forward as a group towards the sealed star. Simultaneously, the other tens of groups were doing the same. The teams lagging behind all gritted their teeth and attacked over and over at those rushing at the sealed star. Rumble. The area near the star constantly had explosions, the space around had been completely destroyed, leaving nothing but stream particles. Even though the teams were getting close, no one dared to rush in. Because the combined attacks from the teams that landed on the sealed star itself were all already capable of killing knights. The sealed star was truly a treasure even knights would go crazy for. Such attacks didn't even scratch it. As the teams got closer, there were less teams behind and the attacks got weaker. And as the number of teams getting close to the sealed star grew, they could easily work together to defend the attacks from behind. It may seem slow. In truth, in the 12th second after the sealed star erupted, the star was finally not attacked, because the earlier attacks had knocked it so much it flew downwards. Grab the treasure! Grab it! The many Undyings all madly rushed at the sealed stuff. In an instant, over 10,000 Undyings rushed towards the surface of the star. This was a star that was the size of a planet. Even with over 100,000 Undyings landing on it, there would still be plenty of room. The Undyings used their greatest speed to send their undying energy into the sealed star, wanting to leave their soul imprint. To control a treasure, one had to completely leave a spirit imprint, and this had to be done within the shortest amount of time. However, with over 10,000 Undyings, the difference between the fastest and slowest was probably less than 0.1 seconds. In such a short time, with so many imprints, naturally they all failed. Leaving an imprint required one to be alone and not disturbed. The treasure could after all only have one master. Luo Feng and his team were the second group to land on the sealed star. There were already over 30,000 Undyings then. How will this work? Luo Feng rubbed the star, failing as he shook his head. More and more Undyings were gathering on the star, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000. Rumble. A terrifying combined attack instantly descended from afar. The thousands of Undyings on the star surface immediately unleashed their defenses, easily blocking the attack. However, the force of the attack knocked the star downwards even faster. Rumble. 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 The many attacks from afar were easily blocked by the Undyings on the star. It's them. Luo Feng glanced. There were about 30,000 Undyings floating in mid-air in their groups. Among this group, Da Long, Black Tomb and Seven Blade, the 9 terrifying beings all led their own teams, they didn't rush over at all. The strong and the weak have different methods. Luo Feng thought. Chen Chen and the others are weaker, they can only rush to get to the star first. And the absolute beings like Da Long, even if a lucky Undying got the star, they have a guarantee of killing him and taking the treasure from him. Flee! Quickly flee! A piercing order resounded, many Undyings around quickly spread the word as they madly fled from the star. Rumble, the sealed star was already moving extremely fast downwards. Even though the formless pressure below was broken, it was still the energy of Star Tower. The ripples formed after grew even more violent, some fleeing from it were hit by attacks from other Undyings. Even if they didn't die, they were knocked backwards, into the Mad Star Tower energy. Whether it was a low emperor or pinnacle emperor or even an emperor limit, the moment they were hit downwards and unable to dodge, flying into the energy ripples, they would instantly be reduced to ashes. Some warriors' weapons were instantly destroyed, while some world rings broke as well. The better rings may not break. What terrifying power! Luophone was shocked. That formless barrier was stable before, forcing back the countless sealed stars and the terrifying force behind it. Now that it was broken, the formless barrier itself became a mad source of energy. Combined with the other similar energies around, it produced the mysterious energy of Star Tower, easily destroying the emperors. Whoever touched it would die without doubt. Treasure. Daishi Emperor's World Ring. It's mine. The danger from below where the thousands of sealed stars were located terrified all the warriors above. However, those unlucky ones that died left behind huge amounts of treasure that floated about, making many rush to get them. Because the powerful energies pushed the items left behind up, it was easy to take the treasures. Amidst the mess, the 9 absolute warriors led their teams, seemingly in no rush. You think the sealed star would be so easy to get? The automaton warrior live full emperor gazed coldly from afar. He was dressed in gold armor with black skin. They are too anxious. The tens of thousands of exits haven't even appeared. Even if they get the star, they won't be able to flee, they'll only become a target. He had forgotten. The other Undyings weren't as powerful as he was. If they didn't make their move early and stood in the distance, waiting till the final moment, they would have no chance at all. Getting the sealed star is the second goal, Seven Blade is the first. He shot a look at the distant Seven Blade Emperor. The automaton race had detailed information about the Seven Blade Emperor. He was their number 3 target on their list to assassinate amongst the human geniuses. Ranked number 1 was the genius sector Lord Luophone, who was comparable to Kudai, and was accepted as a disciple of the terrifying Primal Chaos City leader. According to their information, Luophone should be in the outer region wars, with many Undyings dying by his hand, after which he disappeared. He should be hiding from the danger. Ranked number 2 was Dream Fire Emperor. Ranked 3rd was Seven Blade Emperor. Part 2 end here.